Hey guys, welcome to now part 3 of my makeup decluttering series. This one is going to be entirely dedicated to blushes. These are not all my blushes laid out here. This is just kind of like the first round that I'm going to be going through. I know some of you have been commenting about how hard it is to part with your makeup, and you know, for the first 2 videos it actually was not that hard for me to part with my things, but I have to say for this one I am feeling a little bit nervous because I am a huge blush lover and just blush addict. It's probably one of my absolute favorite makeup categories, if not my actual favorite. So yeah, this one might be a little bit tougher for me. Also, make sure if you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any of these upcoming videos, especially my final vanity clean out, which is going to include more of my frequently used everyday blushes. So jumping straight into the first row, these are NYX powder blushes, and this first one is in the shade Espresso. And there's what it looks like. And I really like Espresso. It's kind of like a brownie pink color. It's really, really pretty, so I definitely will hold on to that. I actually really like the quality of the NYX powder blushes. They're soft and smooth, but not overly powdery, which is really nice for a more affordable brand. This next one is in the shade Mocha. And I really do like Mocha. It does have a little bit of redness in it that I'm not totally crazy about, but I do like that it's kind of a vibrant coral type of shade, so we'll hold on to that. Next one is in the shade Cinnamon. I know I'm definitely holding on to Cinnamon because it is such a pretty unique color. It's kind of like, yeah, a true orange. Again, these are so soft and pretty, and I hope you guys can kind of see that. It's just a really nice warm orange color. And also really quickly, I don't just like Cinnamon as a blush, but I also really like it as an eyeshadow. I think it makes for kind of an interesting transition color. So I have used it as an eyeshadow as well and really liked it for that. This next one is in the shade Red, which, I mean, this is not red at all. And if you're familiar with NYX products, then you know a lot of their titles are pretty misleading. So this is, like I said, not red at all. It's actually more of like a dusty rose color. It's so pretty. I really love this. I think the shade of this kind of just reminds me of like a higher end blush. I feel like I don't find too many shades quite like this in the drugstore, so I will hold on to this. And then lastly is Peach, and Peach is an old favorite of mine. Again, this also does not really stay true to the title of it because I wouldn't call this a peachy tone blush. It's more of like a baby pink, and I really do like that. I think it's really pretty, so I will hold on to that as well. And then the last one is Dusty Rose, and Dusty Rose I also really like. Sorry about my nail polish, guys. I've been kind of like opening different products, so it keeps chipping off. And you know, I think I'm also gonna keep Dusty Rose. Just as a comparison, red is a little bit more of a brown tone. Dusty Rose definitely has more of a pinky purpley in it, and it's a little bit more pigmented. So I really do like Dusty Rose. I think I am definitely going to be holding on to that guy. So no luck with editing down the NYX blushes, but that's okay. Let's move on. Next one is this Wet n Wild blush, and I don't know the color of it. Oh, Mellow Wine. There it is there. And this is just like what it's called. It is kind of like a mauvey or pinky wine tone type of blush. So I do like this. I will hold on to it. And I'm probably going to do the same with, or actually no, I don't think I'm going to hold on to this one. I don't know if I liked it or not. This is Pearlescent Pink. Definitely not holding on to Pearlescent Pink. It's a really pretty pink color, but it's got like a gold shimmer running through it, and it almost looks a little bit chunky to me, so I am gonna go ahead and toss this one out, or give it away, I should say. Next one is the Sonia Kashuk blush, and this is in the shade Fleshed. And this is a crazy, like, Barbie neon pink color. I also really love the quality of Sonia Kashuk blushes, and that's what it looks like. Obviously, it's really nice and intense, and I don't really see myself using this on its own anytime soon, but I think it's kind of nice to have to like mix with other blushes because it's kind of like a true cotton candy pink and doesn't have a lot of purple in it either, which I really like. So I'm gonna hold on to Flushed. Next one is this limited edition one from L'Oreal. This was part of their Project Runway collection, and this is in the shade The Muses Blush. Obviously, it's a really pretty, big, nice pan, and it's kind of like a cantaloupe-y type of color, but looking at it up close, this obviously is way too light for my skin tone. I think it's barely gonna show up. It looks like a beautiful blush in the pan, but I don't think it really shows up all that well on my skin, so I am gonna let this guy go. Next one are these blushes from E.L.F, and I can tell you right away I'm probably not gonna hold on to these. I think I got them about a year ago, and these are in the shades Sweet Retreat and Jet Setter. And while the colors are really pretty, the texture of these are super, super powdery and dusty. They feel almost like a creamy type of texture when you touch them, so they're really, really soft, but this one is, I think, Sweet Retreat. Yeah, Sweet Retreat is here, which is kind of like almost a pastel cantaloupe type of shade or a light peach. And then this one is Jet Setter. And Jet Setter is much more of like a deepy mauve type of color. While I actually kind of like the shade of Jet Setter, I think it's really unique. I'm not gonna hold on to these just because, like I said, they're way too powdery, and I don't know, I'm not crazy about how much fallout there is with them. Again, these are the pressed mineral blushes from E.L.F. And then this one is an E.L.F. Baked Blush in the shade Rich Rose. And there's what that one looks like. I thought this looked a lot like actually my Laura Geller blushes when I first saw this online. So I ordered it, and I can't really remember how I felt about it. Yeah, I really don't like this one. It looks like it's gonna be this really cool, like, hot coral mixed with like silver and taupe and just, I don't know, make for this really interesting shade, but there's obviously not a lot of color payoff with this. So I'm going to let that guy go. This next one I've actually lost the little plastic top for, but this is a Jordana blush, and this is in Touch of Pink. So that is Touch of Pink. It's kind of like a coral pink color, which I actually really do like, even though it's kind of gross that I lost the cap of it. I think I'm still gonna hold on to this because I really do like these like warm corally type of pinks. Next is another Jordana blush in the shade Sunlit Bronze. Sunlit Bronze is kind of like a brown-based pink. Oh, this is so pretty. It actually does have a little bit of glitter in it, but it's so undetectable, like you can barely see it. I do really like this color, but to be honest, I know I'm not gonna grab for it as much because it almost has a little bit of a gray tone in it, and I really don't like that on my skin tone, so I think I'm going to let this one go. Moving on to this Laura Geller blush. This is in the shade, this is her blush and brighten in the shade Tropic Hues. And there's what that one looks like. I love the consistency or the texture of Laura Geller blushes. They are so smooth and pretty and just go on the skin so flawlessly. So there's Tropic Hues. It actually is a really pretty blush. There's different colors that you can see in it, like gold, and there's a little bit of orange and pink. It's kind of like a warm pink, but I know I'm probably not gonna reach for this a whole lot because I don't like blushes that have such an intense sheen to them. I just feel like it accentuates my pores, and even though the color is really pretty, I just know I'm not going to reach for it, so I'm gonna let that guy go. Next Laura Geller blush is in the shade Golden Apricot, or Apricot, however you wanna pronounce it. And I really do like this color. Let me switch hands really quickly. This is like a warm pink mixed with kind of like a gold, and that's how it looks. It is so pretty. It comes out this really beautiful like dusty orange with flecks of gold and yellow in it, and I just think it's really interesting to mix with other blushes. And again, can you see how deep the pigmentation is? It's really, really nice and super, super smooth. And then this last little guy from Laura Geller is in the shade Dreamsicle. And that's what Dreamsicle looks like. I'm kind of running out of fingers here. Dreamsicle is really pretty. It's kind of, again, like a cotton candy pink, but this actually does have a little bit more of like a fuchsia or purple undertone to it, which again, I don't really like for my skin, so I'm gonna let that one go. So this next one I got from a website that sold a ton of makeup, half price or discounted, and I really can't remember the name of it, but it used to be a really popular website. And I'm sorry I don't remember the name, but this is the Estee Lauder blush in Peach Nuance, and again, it's just in the pan. I need to pop it inside my Z palette because I haven't really used this yet, but as you can see, it's this really pretty like ombre peach color. I think it's gonna look so beautiful in the summertime, so I'm going to hold on to that so I can finally use it. Moving on to these Sonia Kashuk blushes, I have 3 shades. I have Flushed, which is a really pretty kind of like hot pink color. I also have Sunset. Sunset is one of my absolute favorite blushes. It's a really pretty blush in the summertime because it's like a corally peach color. And then lastly is the shade Lily. Lily is like a cool tone pink, or a cool tone like mauvey pink shade. It is really pretty, so I will hold on to that. Sunset, I can already tell you I'm gonna hold on to because I love it. It's really vibrant and I just really love it. It's like a corally type of tone. And then Flushed, I think I will hold on to Flushed. I really don't have anything like this. It is a little bit more on the fuchsia side than what I like, but I still think it's kind of a fun blush to just have in my collection to mix with other things. And then these last 3 little guys are from Tarte, and I know I'm probably gonna hold on to these because I have not dipped into them at all. These were part of a little mini limited edition collection that came out, I think in Sephora about a year ago. So I won't go through and swatch these, but they're just these little mini guys. This is in the shade Splendor, this is in the shade Magic, and then this one is in the shade Fantastics. Okay, so moving on to my next set of blushes. First, I have these Milani Rose blushes. This is in the shade Tea Rose, Coral Cove, and Romantic Rose. I did do a review on these blushes if you guys want to see swatches, but I actually am going to hold on to these because I just love the way they look displayed in my makeup room. I just think they're really pretty. The quality is okay. I think my favorite out of these is definitely Romantic Rose. And then these next 2 ones are from E.L.F, and these are cream blushes. And here's what those look like. This one is in Rose Royalty, and this one is Peach Perfection. And I'm not gonna hold on to these because they are a little bit dried up, and to be honest, the texture of these are kind of odd. They are like a cream to powder type of finish, and that is Peach Perfection. It is a really pretty kind of like true orange color, but I prefer for like cream blushes for them to be a little bit more creamy in texture. I'm not a big fan of the cream to powder finish. I feel like it's way too drying on my face. And with these, you have to work with them so quickly because they set so fast, and I don't know. I really don't want to hold on to a blush that I know is gonna be difficult to work with. And then next we have my MAC blushes. Again, a lot of my MAC blushes are actually sitting at my vanity, which I'll go through at the end. And this first one is in the shade Something Special. This is actually a cream blend blush, and I really do like this shade. It's just a beautiful pink color, and that's what that one looks like. I will hold on to that. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the cream blushes from MAC. I feel like their texture is a little bit stiff. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I wish they were a little bit more creamy. Okay, so the plastic just fell out of this one, but this is in the shade Fresh Honey, and this is a mineralized blush. And I really like this. It's kind of like a yellow-based orange color. It's really interesting. I think this is really pretty to mix with other shades, so I'm definitely gonna hold on to that. Next is in So Sweet, So Easy. This is another cream blend blush. And I know it looks a little bit crazy because I've dipped my brush in it so many times, but I really do like this. I don't have another cream blush that is in quite this color. It's a really pretty like baby petal pink. It almost looks a little bit hot pinkish, but that one I'm gonna keep. And then Margin. I love this color. I don't know if this is permanent or limited edition. I'm not really sure, but it's a really pretty kind of like copper tone blush. It's really interesting. It's very bronzy, and even though it is shimmery, I think it makes for a really nice glow to the skin. So I will hold on to that. This one is an Immortal Flower, and this was a limited edition. I'm definitely gonna let go of this because it's way too light for me, if you guys can see that. So I'm gonna be trying to sell that over to Glambot. This one has been so loved that the name has completely rubbed off, but yeah. Obviously I must really like it, so I'm gonna hold on to it. And then this is another limited edition one in the shade Sun and Moon, and this was a gift from a friend. And I really love this. It's a really pretty mix of like almost an antique pink mixed with like a coral, or I'm sorry, a copper orange color. So I will hold on to that. And then Lillicent, I know I'm gonna hold on to. This is another really pretty cream blush from MAC, but this has more of like a brown base to it. Let me actually just quickly swatch that one. So that's what it looks like. It almost looks like the perfect nude lipstick. You know what I mean? It's like that beautiful creamy pink color with a nice warm base to it. I really, really love this shade. This is probably my favorite cream blush from MAC. And then this last one is Warmth of Coral. I'm definitely gonna be trying to sell this one over as well because I know I've barely touched it. It's a really, really light color for me. If you can see, I think this would make a lot of sense like on a paler skin tone, but for me it just does not show up. And then I have this full-size blush from Tarte, and this is in the shade Exposed, which I know is a really popular shade. I think this is the only full-size blush that I have from Tarte, and it just looks like that. It's just a really pretty dusty mauve shade, so I will hold on to that as well. Okay, next are these blushes from E.L.F, and this is in the shade Mellow Mauve. I really don't like this color. I mean, it's okay, it's pretty, but I obviously have way too many things very similar to this. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Mellow Mauve go. One is in Fuchsia Fusion. And I can't remember which NARS blush this is supposed to kind of mimic. It might be Matahari, but I can't remember the exact name. But this is like a fuchsia with a ton of glitter in it. It's a really pretty color, but obviously not something practical for me, so letting that guy go. Next one is in the shade Giddy Gold, and I think this was supposed to be kind of like a highlighter type of shade. And yeah, obviously the quality of these are not that great. I mean, they're not terrible, but they are really powdery, and Giddy Gold is kind of like this chunky gold kind of color. I don't really see the point of it, so letting it go. And then this one is in Pink Passion. I think I'm gonna hold on to Pink Passion. I remember really liking it, and even though it's this like insane Barbie pink color, you can see it there, it's really, really intense and unique, so I think I'm gonna hold on to it just for the sake of having it to mix with other blushes to kind of give certain blushes like a pop. And then this next one is in Peachy Keen. I never really liked this shade. I had high hopes for it because it was called Peachy Keen, but it barely shows up. And I don't know if you guys can see how dusty these are. The camera is picking it up, but they are very, very dusty and powdery, and I really don't like that, so. And then this last little one is in the shade Twinkle Pink. And Twinkle Pink is so pretty. It's like a really gorgeous baby pink color, but obviously it has a ton of glitter in it. So again, another blush that just isn't practical for me. So moving on to this next row, I'm really sorry if you can hear my neighbor taking a shower. Hopefully he's gonna be done soon. But these are my E.L.F. blush palettes, and I did do a review on these in the past, and this one is in the shade Dark, and this is the shade Light. And if you do want to see swatches of these, I'll go ahead and leave the link to my review on them down below if you want to see how they look and my thoughts. And then this last little guy is from Sonia Kashuk. This is in the shade Poppy. I've had this one for a pretty long time. It's kind of like a tinted blush, and that's what it looks like. Obviously the color is just really, really sheer, so it doesn't really make sense for me. Okay guys, so this is the last round of blushes for this video. I am gonna have a number of blushes probably in my vanity clean out, so again, stay tuned for that. This first row is NYX cream blushes, and I love NYX cream blushes. If you guys have not tried them, you absolutely have to. They're amazing. They're so creamy and so pigmented. So here are all my NYX cream blushes. I know for a fact I'm probably gonna hold on to all of these because I really do love them. This first one is in the shade Tea Rose, and the plastic is actually falling out of it. And there's Tea Rose. It's a beautiful, creamy, creamy pink. It's like a brown-based pink. I just want to make sure you guys can see it. It's so pretty. And just look at the pigmentation on that. It's so creamy and so pigmented. I love it. This next one is in the shade Glow. And this one has definitely received a lot of love. And there's Glow. It's kind of like a warm Barbie pink. Next is in Boho Chic. It's kind of like a pastel pink color, but it doesn't have a lot of purple in it, which is nice, so I really like that one. This one is in Hot Pink, which is pretty appropriate. It's this really, really intense pink color. I have to tell you guys, like, if you're looking for cream blushes, please look at NYX before you go to any high-end brand because they just have really great options. And then this one is probably my absolute favorite. This is in the shade Natural. And I know I've reached for this a ton. It's a really pretty kind of like milky pink, but with a nice amount of warmth to it. So I really love Natural. I'm definitely gonna be holding on to these because I love them so much. Next is this blush from Lancome, and this is in the shade Cosmopolitan Pink. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to sell this over to Glambot. I just don't think I'm ever really gonna use it. It's a really pretty kind of cotton candy pink color, and it's not super pigmented, so you don't have to be worried about using a heavy hand with it. But to be honest, I already have too many things similar to this with a lot more pigmentation, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell this one over to Glambot. Next one is this cream blush by Ilam Masca, and this is in the shade Rude. So there is Rude, and it's a really unique, almost pastel orange kind of color. So I think I'm gonna hold on to this one. I really like that. And then the same for this one. This is in the shade Tremble, and this one is actually a powder blush, not a cream. I have so many fuzzies from this blanket that I bought from Target. It was really cute, but oh my gosh, it gets everywhere. Anyways, this is the shade Tremble, and I really do like this. It's kind of like a corally pink color on the actual skin, so we'll hold on to that. These little ones from Rimmel, I'm definitely gonna give away just because I find that the pigmentation on these are not great. They take a lot of work to build up on my skin. This is in the shade Tickle Me Pink, and this one is in Santa Rose. So I'm gonna let those go. I have another one from Sonia Kashuk, and this is her cream blush in Rosy. And I definitely think I'm gonna let Rosy go. First of all, the texture of it is almost kind of mousse-like. It's not really creamy, which is how I like my cream blushes to be, and it actually pulls a little bit red. So it's almost like a hot pink coral color. So I'm gonna let that one go. Up here, I have these Maybelline Master Glaze cream blushes. These came out in the drugstore, I wanna say a year ago now, maybe longer, maybe a couple years ago. And that is what they look like. This first one is in the shade Just Pinched Pink. And then this one down here at the bottom is in Pink Fever. I don't know, should I keep these? I think I'm definitely gonna let go of Pink Fever because it almost has like an iridescence to it that I really don't like. But I do think I'm gonna hold on to Just Pinched Pink because I really do like this color, and it's like a sensible color for me. Okay, so this one is actually eyeshadows, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my eyeshadow drawer, wrong drawer. This next one is also from Lancome, and this is in the shade Sheer Amorose, or Amorose. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And I remember picking up this blush because I know it is the blush that Kim Kardashian's makeup artist used on her wedding day, and I really, really loved the color on her cheeks. And that's it, kind of swatched out there. It's a really pretty, very muted rosy color. And I really do like this. I actually had it at my vanity for a long time and decided to finally kind of put it away and try some other new blushes, but this is definitely like a classic favorite of mine. So I will hold on to that. Next two blushes are from NARS. This one is in the shade Orgasm. Now, Orgasm, I know for sure I'm gonna go ahead and let go of or sell over to GlamBot. I've probably used this 3 or 4 times. Honestly, I really don't like it on me. It's just way too shimmery, and I don't know, I just feel like it really accentuates my redness because it does pull very red on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell that guy over to GlamBot. This one is in the shade Gina. I love Gina in the summertime. It's not like a really intense orange like Cinnamon from NYX. It's a little bit more muted and kind of dusty. So I will hold on to Gina. I absolutely love this one, probably one of my all-time favorites. Next one is another blush by Milani, and this is their Baked Blush in Luminoso. I'm not gonna swatch this one because I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen it, but it's a really, really pretty blush, especially great for topping over other blushes just to kind of give your cheek a really nice glow. So I will hold on to that because I really like it. This one I know I'm gonna let go of. This is like a super random one from Maybelline. It's their Baby Cheek Flush in the shade Pop of Peach. And to me, this is just absolutely pointless. I think if you're very fair-skinned, it might make sense, but for someone like me, it barely shows up, and it just stays really wet, which I don't really like. It's kind of nice if you like that really dewy look, but for me, I don't know. It almost just felt like a sheer Vaseline on my skin, and I really don't like that feeling. Next one is, I think, by Victoria's Secret, and this is their Radiant Blush in Doll Face. And there's what that one looks like. Honestly, I've had this for a few years. I'm definitely gonna let it go. I think the color is actually starting to change on it. It's getting like this weird, I don't know, color here on the sides. And this is almost like a frosted pink. So I don't even know if they make this anymore, but I'm probably just gonna toss that one out. Next are these two little NYX stick blushes, and this is in the shade Magnolia and Pink Lotus. Oh, so this one has definitely got to go. I think it like melted in the cap, which is pretty gross. And yeah, that is what it looks like if you're interested, but it's kind of like a shimmery hot pink. So not crazy about that at all, and it's obviously gone bad, so I will let that one go. And let's see what this one looks like. This one is actually not disgusting. And here is what this one looks like. Again, this is Magnolia. And Magnolia is actually very pretty. It's like a deep hot pink color. For me, I'm probably gonna let this one go just because I already feel like I have a good amount of like hot pink type of blushes, and this does lean a little bit more on the fuchsia side. I would actually say it's like a borderline hot fuchsia color. So I will be letting Magnolia go. This little guy is from Tarte, and this is in the shade Flush. It's one of their cheek stains. And I can't say I've really used this ever on my face. And there's what it looks like. It's like this glossy berry color, and I don't have too many berry toned blushes, so I think I'm gonna hold on to this and test it out a little bit more. Again, I don't think I've ever really used it on my face. I've just tested it out on my hand. Okay, last ones. This one I actually randomly saw in my drawer, and I'm not gonna open it because it's totally broken, but this is in the shade Flamingo. I really do remember liking this color, which is really sad that it broke. I'll see what I can do about mending it. Let's actually just open it and see what happens. We made it this far, why not? So there's Flamingo, and I actually, yeah, even if I could salvage it, I probably would let Flamingo go just because it does lean a little bit on the gray side. It's a little too light for me, so tossing that out. And then these last little ones are from E.L.F. I've had these for a long time. Obviously, they've already started to separate, which I know is really gross, but I just want to keep it real and show you everything that I have. But these are the E.L.F. HD blushes, and I remember really being excited about these because they reminded me of the Makeup Forever blushes that came out like this. But these were so pigmented. I don't know if these are still available on E.L.F.'s website, but like the tiniest, oh, it's hard to even get something out. So at this point, they're just too dried up to even get any product out, which definitely means I'm throwing them away. But if you guys are curious about how these were, I really didn't like them. They were way, way too pigmented to the point where like a tiny little dot went way too far and you never really knew how much to use, and they just ended up kind of being more of a hassle than being like fun to use. So I would not recommend these. I think this shade, this one is in the shade Headliner, was definitely my favorite. It's a really pretty pink. So if you are gonna try any of these, I would recommend either Headliner or Superstar. Superstar is more of like a corally pink. But Diva, which is this like fuchsia color, and Showstopper, which is like this deep plum, they were so pigmented that they were just so difficult to work with and just not practical. So tossing all of those away. Okay guys, that's it for all of my blushes. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please be sure to subscribe down below to stay tuned for my upcoming decluttering. I might be finally getting into either my lipsticks or my eyeshadows. I'm still deciding. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.